Krishna. We welcome you to Pune Yatra. With the exception of 1 year that we missed, we have come to this house for this Transcendental Yatra for the past 21 years. So we are now about to inaugurate the 20th Pune Yatra. We began in that small living room. All the devotees fit very comfortably. For the first 2 or 3 years, we had Maha Kirtans, lectures, bhajans. We began to expand in size and started having it in the patio. We thought it was really becoming very crowded. And this year, we're expecting approximately 3,000 devotees. Like all of our yatras, we come together for the exclusive purpose of helping one another to absorb our consciousness in Krishna. The perfection of human life is to be absorbed in remembering Krishna. Krishna is so kind. He appears in so many ways just to help us to be immersed in His loving service. The basic foundation of our spiritual lives is hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord in the association of devotees. Without a strong foundation in this way, all of our other activities will be vulnerable to the destructive influence of Maya. Harinama Harinam Harinam Eva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva 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 Katir Anyatha. Lord Chaitanya and all of our Acharyas have given great prominence to this verse from the Brihad Naradiya Purana. In this age of Kali, Lord Hari has descended in His name. Most merciful, most accessible. Kali Kale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. And the most power manifests through the name of the Lord. In fact, in this age of Kali, to achieve the ultimate perfection of love of God, there is no other way except the chanting of God's names. There are 9 processes of devotional service, which Prahlad Maharaj has expounded in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, of the 9 processes, which is most potent and important? Lord Chaitanya replied, Kirtanam, the chanting of the holy names. When our beloved Guru Maharaj, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, instructed us to chant at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra every day in order to qualify ourselves for initiation. He was not taxing us with a burden in our lives. Rather, he was giving importance where importance is due in our lives. Whatever else we do in our daily activities, it will have such greater and deeper spiritual substance, such a greater capacity to please Krishna, if we're chanting the holy names and absorbing ourselves in that process. We make progress according to the priorities that we put into our lives. The scriptures, the saints, and Srila Prabhupada have given the ultimate priority in chanting God's names. In fact, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was leaving Navadvip, just about to take sannyas, he gave his final instructions to his devotees. They did not know they were his final instructions. Only a few of them understood that he would leave that very night for Katwa. His instruction was, always absorb yourself in chanting Krishna's names. There is no greater means of achieving Krishna than chanting his names. Never neglect to chant Krishna's names. Whether you're eating or sleeping or working or playing or any other activity you're doing, along with it, chant the name of Krishna. And of all the names of Krishna, I'm giving you this Maha Mantra, Lord Chaitanya said. It is the greatest of all mantras. It is the essence of all mantras. All other mantras and all other scriptures are included within this Maha Mantra. So constantly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. In kirtan, in bhajan, in japa, let us absorb ourselves in chanting Hare Krishna. And to hear about Krishna, to absorb our consciousness in hearing about Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, Krishna's teachings, Krishna's wonderful pastimes, and the mercy that Krishna bestows upon his devotees. This is our foundation. But Lord Chaitanya also teaches us how to chant and hear. Shushushro Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Viprapunya Tirtana Sevanat. To actually develop a taste for hearing and chanting, we must serve great souls. Unless we have a humble service attitude, a sincere enthusiasm to serve, even hearing and chanting will not really fructify in the desired goal. So here, during our Yatra in Pune, we come together to leave behind our social, occupational, and domestic distractions, for 3.5 days, so that we are with devotees. In fact, it's difficult to escape devotees. Some of you may be in overcrowded facilities, waiting to use bathrooms, standing in lines, waiting for prasad. What a glorious benediction this is. To have the association of devotees is such a rare opulence, such a blessing of God. Some people I know are in distant places, longing and crying for the association of even one devotee. And here, we are in such opulence, such immense, lavish wealth, that there are so many devotees. We're being pushed by them and stepped on by them, and we have to wait for them. It is wonderful. If you see it from that perspective, you'll be in bliss. If you see it from a material perspective, why is he taking so long? Why is she taking so long? Why so many people? There's hardly any air to breathe. If you see it from that perspective, you miss the blessing. But here we all under one tent, breathing the same air. And when kirtan starts, then we'll understand how many devotees are actually here. But it is a blessing. In the association of so many wonderful devotees, we have come to really, really intensely purify our consciousness through hearing and chanting. And with the divine energy that we absorb, we become recharged spiritually. And it helps us to remain very, very properly Krishna conscious for the rest of the year. Regularly hearing about Krishna, constantly chanting his names in the association of devotees is the secret of perfection in life. And we have come here to give emphasis on these principles. A Vaishnav wants to serve. A Vaishnav is not concerned with being served. There is a special personality that so magnificently exemplified this quality: an eagerness to serve, and a hatred to be served. Today we are celebrating his appearance, Sri Advaita Acharya. I'd like to speak for a few minutes about Sri Advaita Prabhu and highlight just a few special lessons we could learn from his illustrious life. But first of all, I'd like to say something about this day, which is so divinely blessed. Exactly 1 year ago, our very beloved devotee, Stoka Krishna Prabhu, passed from this world. And his mother, father, brother, sister, and other relatives are here today. We are very honored and grateful that they have come. Stoka Krishna Prabhu was a simple boy. He came to Krishna consciousness right from his college. He heard a lecture and came to the temple and never turned back. Very humble and very, very eager to serve. Content with the simplest, most menial services. got wonderfully trained in Brahmacharya ashram. And at a certain point, he graduated from the Brahmacharya ashram and accepted Grihastha ashram. 34 years old, contracted such a ferocious form of cancer that on his diagnosis, the doctors felt he could pass away from this world within a month. Maharaj Parikshit only had 7 days. Stoka Krishna Prabhu really did follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. He was grateful for all the blessings Krishna gave him. Through the ravaging cancer, racked with pain, nobody ever heard him complain. Always smiling, thanking Krishna and the Vaishnavas for all the chances he was allowed to serve, to hear about the Lord and to chant his names. That was his quality. He felt he did not deserve the blessings he received, but he deserved whatever pains came. And therefore he was simply grateful. He manifested such exalted qualities. His wife would be a young widow. A daughter was born while he was on his deathbed. But he had faith. If I surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take care of everything and everyone. It was on this day of the appearance of Sri Advaita Prabhu that Stoka Krishna Prabhu, surrounded by many, many devotees loudly chanting the holy names, with the Mahaprasad of many of the holiest places of Vrindavan covering his body. Krishna took his soul to their lotus feet. Within not even a day, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangari Prabhu came to our temple. Jananivas Prabhu cited a Gaudiya Vaishnav understanding that the day of Advaitacharya's appearance is so auspicious that anyone who dies on this day, Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu will stand on the right and left hand side of that person and loudly chant in that person's ears the holy names of Gauranga. With his passing, many hundreds, even thousands of people all over the world began to understand the wonderful qualities of this devotee and the great lesson that he taught us. Today, on the first anniversary of Stoka Krishna Prabhu's disappearance, another one of our devotees disappeared from this world. A very beloved member of Radha Gopinath Temple, Radha Shakti Devi Mataji, the mother of Sham Charan Prabhu. Her son, Sham Charan Prabhu, was working as a faculty member of IIT. His very serious service attitude was such a blessing to all the students and devotees there. Totally dedicated. He was, year after year after year, one of the intimate servitors who made our IIT preaching powerful. First Devamrit Prabhu was there, then Radhe Shyam Prabhu was there, and for many years Gauranga Prabhu. He was always there assisting. And through association of his devotees, his mother became fixed in devotional service. She loved to hear the glories of the Lord, absorbed herself in chanting the holy names of the Lord, and loved to cook for the Vaishnavas. Whenever I would go there, she would personally cook dosas and other nice South Indian prasad. Very excellent, with tremendous devotion. She would cry just to have the opportunity to serve devotees. And throughout her whole life, she was a devotee of Tulsi Devi. Every day she performed seva for Tulsi, year after year after year in her own home. She contracted cancer. And just a little over a week ago, I personally went there just to offer my sincerest gratitude and love to her for who she is and the amazing example she set. And it was like meeting such a saintly person, such natural flow of spontaneous devotion she had. Just folding her hands, only begging for one thing, for love for Radha and Krishna. She wanted nothing else. She was praying, let Krishna take me now. Let Krishna take me now. Let Radharani take me now. I have nothing but them. I only want their love. I only want their mercy. I only want their blessings and that of the Vaishnavas. Anybody who was around her those last weeks knows that was her only desire in life. Na danam na janam na sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatad bhaktirohaita kitvai. Lord Chaitanya taught us it's wonderful to see someone. All they want, there's nothing left except the blessings of Krishna and the devotees and the love of Radharani and Krishna. An eternal service to Tulsi Devi. That's all she wanted. It was interesting because the day I was going to see her that morning, a devotee came from Vrindavan and brought me beautiful garlands and tulsi leaves and chandan from the lotus feet of Radha Shyam Sundar and Radha Raman, water from Jamuna and Radha Kund, and also a beautiful necklace that was the Mahaprasad of Srimati Radharani. Which is interesting because the day Astoka Krishna Prabhu left also, S.A. and Soul came from Vrindavan with all remnants of the holy places, the holy waters, the holy deities, and the Brijavasis, Madan Mohan Brijavasi, Goswamiji, Ramesh Chandra Goswami from So when I went to her, we sprinkled the tulsi and the chandan on her head and in her mouth with Ganges water and Jamuna water and Radha Kund water. And then we put around her neck this wonderful necklace of Srimati Radharani. Very special Mahaprasad. And she was so grateful to receive it. And she wore it for the rest of her days. Today I found out that the last time she was in Vrindavan, she's not a rich lady, but she took most of her jewelry and she offered it to Radharani in Krishna Balaram temple. She offered her jewelry to Radharani in Krishna Balaram temple. And Radharani sent her jewelry, Mahaprasad, back to her to be wearing for her last days in this world. And to make the story even more extraordinary, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangari Prabhu are coming tomorrow. Just like with Stoka Krishna Prabhu. The two of them just came the next day right after she. So today at about 9:30 in the morning, with her son, relatives, and devotees, performing Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names around her, her soul was taken to the lotus feet of Sri Radha Gopinath. Sri Advaita Acharya, his special feature in Lord Chaitanya's Leela is he called the Lord to come to the world, and then he sent the Lord out of this world. Most special day. Let us all offer our sincere gratitude to Srimati Radha Shakti Devi and pray to Sri Gaur-Nitai, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Radha Gopinath and all of our Acharyas to bestow their intimate blessings upon her. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells us that before Lord Chaitanya came to this world, he set the stage for his pastimes by sending many of his eternal associates and his own expansions. He sent Nanda and Yashoda, who appeared as Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. He sent Brishabhanu Maharaj, who appeared as Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He sent Lord Brahma in the form of Srila Haridas Thakur. He sent Narad Muni and Parvat Muni as Srivas Pandit and Ramai Pandit. Before that even, he sent the most divine Kalpabriksha of Goloka in the form of Madhavendra Puri. And he sent Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Acharya is simultaneously the incarnation of Sadashiva, the original Shiva in the spiritual world, and Karanodakshai or Mahavishnu, the first Purusha avatar, the father of all living beings and the cause of all causes. He appeared in Navagram, near Srihata in Bengal, as the son of Kuvera Pandit and Nabadevi. When he was young, his parents shifted to Shantipur. And he was only a teenager when both of his parents departed from this world. He was so beautiful in appearance, so deeply learned in the scriptures, and had such immense devotion to Krishna. But his most extraordinary quality was his compassion for all living beings. Even amongst the greatest Brahmins and the greatest devotees, he was considered to be the leader of all the Brahmins and the leader of all the Vaishnavas. While living in Shantipur, Srila Haridas Thakur came from, he was born near Benapole, and then for some time he was in Chandagram, in Adisaptagram, Chandpur, and he came to Shantipur. Actually, wherever Haridas Thakur was, he was being persecuted by everybody. In Benapole, it was Ramchandra Khan, who was a powerful Hindu, tried to destroy him. After delivering the prostitute, he left and went to Chandapur. And there he was asked to give a lecture by Balaramacharya, Yadunandan Acharya, and a Brahmin, a very learned, qualified by the 25 qualities of a Brahmin, blasphemed him. What right do you have to speak? He was explaining the glories of the holy name by telling that liberation is only an insignificant byproduct of chanting of the holy names. The real purpose of chanting is to love Krishna. There's no other purpose. A Vaishnav does not chant the holy names for wealth, for power, for skill, for health. A devotee chants the holy names not for liberation, focuses only on one thing, love of God. Now this Brahmin, who was an impersonalist, could not tolerate. Who is this malecha, low-class malecha, telling me what's in the scriptures? He cursed Haridas. If what you're saying is true, I'm sorry. If what you're saying is not true, then let your nose and fingers fall off. Hare Krishna. Anyways, his nose and fingers fell off. And Haridas Thakur, what could he do? Although everybody else around was trying to shut this man up, Haridas Thakur says, no, let him be. They were utterly humiliated that he was blaspheming him terribly in a public assembly. Haridas Thakur, just be calm, no problem. And he left that place. He was driven out wherever he was until he came to Shantipur. And there he met Advaita Acharya. Advaita Prabhu was so happy to see such a pure Vaishnava. He embraced him as a dearmost best friend. Even though other Brahmins in Shantipur saw Haridas as nothing but a low-class untouchable, Advaita Acharya Prabhu fed him wonderful prasad, arranged a residence in a cave near the banks of the Ganges in Fuliagram, and would spend most of his days just hearing and chanting with Haridas Thakur. And when it came for the Shraddha Patra of Advaita Prabhu, the biggest, most learned and most prestigious Brahmins in the whole area came because he was their leader. And in front of everyone, not secretly, publicly, he gave the first honors to Haridas Thakur, meaning he is the greatest, most powerful, most exalted of all human beings here. We're listening, but to be in that assembly, that was a powerful, bold statement. We cannot even imagine. At that time, with that climate, Advaita Acharya, when he was younger, he traveled and toured. And somewhere around Udupi, he first met Madhavendra Puri. They became very intimate associates. Then Advaita Prabhu came to Vrindavan. He was living just below the hill called Dashashvamedha Ghat, or Dvadasaditya Til, yes, I'm sorry, Dvadasaditya Til, where Krishna stood after liberating Kaliya. And he resided under a simple banyan tree. And it is said that Krishna appeared to him in a dream and told him he was underground, actually under the Yamuna, in the form of the Madan Mohan deity. So Advaita Acharya dug and found him there and brought him under that banyan tree where he worshipped him. Madhavendra Puri came to Vrindavan. And again, he had satsang with his guru. Madhavendra Puri told him to return to Shantipur because there was a mission that was about to unfold. He entrusted the deity with a Brahman in Mathura who would later present that deity to Sanatana Goswami. In Shantipur, we read in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat that Madhavendra Puri came and gave formal initiation to Advaita Prabhu. In every way, he was most exalted. And he made his most intimate, best friend, Haridas Thakur. Just to show the world that we do not judge a person by their external position. We judge a person by their devotion to God. Haridas Thakur was intoxicated, chanting the holy names of the Lord constantly. Advaita Acharya wanted to be with him. And even during that time, the Qazi hated Haridas, arrested him, brought him to the king, the governor. He was sentenced to die. He was beaten in 22 marketplaces. At other times, Brahmins would challenge Haridas. Why are you chanting loudly? It's an offense to God. Haridas Thakur quoted from so many scriptures to show how the loud chanting of the holy names is the most powerful way of purification. But because it came from his mouth, they said, this is the age of Kali. The scriptures, what they prophesize is true, that low-class untouchables are going to contaminate the world by speaking from the scriptures. This is how Haridas was treated, even in Fuliagram. Beaten, sentenced to death, blasphemed, misunderstood.